Jim Robeson, CEO of PiinPoint. We help businesses find the best locations for growth. Very nice. I think I have that slide. Throughout the past 3 years, I have learned so much. I've made countless mistakes, but I've made some mistakes that have ultimately cost me almost my relationship with my girlfriend. It's almost cost me the business, and quite frankly, it's almost cost me my life. 2013, end of 2013. At that point in time, the most important thing for PiinPoint and for myself was revenue. It was revenue because I maxed out my credit card, I maxed out my student line of credit, and we were in survival mode. Now, I neglected my parents, my friends, because I just had no time whatsoever for them. I would drive 16 hours round trip to visit my girlfriend once a month. And it was at the end of this year that I was actually seeing her, and I woke up one morning, walked out into our living room, and I fainted. Now, when I fainted, I fell into a drying rack. Now, this wooden drying rack, the rod actually went through my chin here. Went to the hospital, and they said, actually, there's something wrong with your heart. Now, a month before that, we've been accepting the Y Combinator. So, let's just put it this way. I should have been more focused on my health and my relationships, but I knew that in order for us to make the most of this one opportunity that we were given for Y Combinator, I had to take our company from a few $100s in monthly revenue to at least thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So, from January until March of 2014, I pushed my health aside. I saw my girlfriend once and almost lost our relationship. I did not touch base with my parents or my friends because PiinPoint was the most important thing at that point in time. Now, at the end of YC, we stood up on stage and we gave one hell of a pitch. We ended up raising our seed round shortly afterwards, but again, I neglected everything else. Fast forward to May 2015, we now have a board of directors. We've gone from 3 to 11 employees. I have essentially livelihoods resting on my shoulders. And at this point in time, things were going well enough that I asked my girlfriend to marry me. It took some convincing to do, but she did say yes. But again, nothing. In terms of our relationship, though, I would still drive down that 16-hour trip, round trip, once a month to see her. PiinPoint was my life, and we consistently grew. Y Combinator, their metrics for growth in terms of if you're doing well or not is 5 to 7% week over week, or 20 to 28% week over week. So we maintain that for the most part. Now, if I now go to June of this year, or actually I'll take a step back. I'll go to January of this year. My girlfriend, or my fiance now, and I decide that long distance is no longer an option. And somebody has to make a sacrifice. But it's not going to be me. So she moves to Kitchener-Waterloo, and things don't change. I still work day in and day out. I bring work home with me. I'm now starting to speak to, actually I didn't mention this. When we got engaged, my parents, I obviously told them, but my friends found out through Facebook. So that's how invested I was in the company, and let's just say they weren't too happy. So yes, now fast forward to this year, and we're still growing, go from 11 to 17 employees. We're preparing for a Series A. She moves back. I'm now visiting my family. I'm seeing my friends, but I bring work when I go home. So I'm on Slack over dinner. I'm sitting on my couch visiting with my friends trying to play catch up. About a few months ago, I wake up again one morning and I faint again. This time I missed my dresser by a few inches. So at this point in time, I'm thinking something is not right. And ultimately, that's when I started to take a step back and say, you know what, I think I really need to change things. So if I look at, I guess, what's most important to me, kind of work from 3 years of building a company, family, friends, PiinPoint, and health, they are all very, very important. They all play different roles, and you balance them differently depending on what's going on in your life. But ultimately, this is how I now look at building my company. Some lessons learned and what I have changed. I now actually add 30 to 50% more time to any task that I take on. I set boundaries when I go home at night, so 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is when I work. Unless something urgent comes up, I try not to address that. I consider my emotional, physical, mental health. So I'm actually going to the doctor now and figuring out what's going on with my heart. So I guess the moral of the story here is that you are going to work your ass off as you build your startup. There is no question about that. But in my opinion, family, friends, your company, and your health are so important. And you cannot neglect those at all, because at one point in time it may just catch up with you. Thank you.
Any questions?
It doesn't have to be just related to this.
I'll ask, how long have you been maintaining this balance? And how do you...
2 months.
2 months. I'll follow up then. What's been the biggest challenge in those 2 months to not go back to all work?
The biggest challenge. The biggest challenge I would just say is shutting off during the week. So obviously as a founder, this is your baby, and you want to make sure you grow as quickly as possible. So as we look to do our Series A, I need to make sure that things are progressing as we said they would. So I would just say it's still coming home and turning off and taking time to just reflect on the business and how we grow.
Any other questions?
Yeah. How are you doing now health-wise? How am I doing now health-wise? I think I'm okay. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I haven't got anything back, but I've gone and things are being looked into. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
So that was like a pretty intense story. Did you ever consider tossing in the towel, or what kept you going?
Again, this is my baby. So the story behind PiinPoint is I come from a small family business. We made our mistakes. We used intuition when we grew it, but ultimately this is something that I believe impacts many, many small businesses, and there's a real opportunity to change the way businesses open or relocate. So I would just say it's kind of that drive, that passion that keeps me going, but also I now know when you do take a step back, it actually helps put things in perspective, and if anything, really helps in terms of looking at how you grow your business. Yeah.
So on that note, what does PiinPoint do then, I guess?
What do we do? Yeah. So we tell so we tell businesses exactly where to locate, where they'll be the most successful. So Tim Hortons, for example, we would tell them if you want to go from 5,500 stores to 6,000 over the course of 12 months, here's every single location you should consider to be the most successful over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah.
So being that you are a startup, the first, I'd say 5 years at least, are very intensive work-wise.
Yeah.
The fact that you've realized that you have to work on your emotional, mental, and physical health, is that something that you stress to your employees as well? Because I know that they're working around the clock and they're being very engaged and involved with the business as well. So is that something that you talk about and try and implement on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually?
Yeah, so I would say if none of our employees have taken any time off for 6 months, I almost kick them out the door to say, take some time away. But the other thing is that I think we also try and take time away over the course of the year, whether it's a retreat, to just completely disconnect from the business and have fun. The other piece is we do work our butts off, but every night for the most part, we'll go to Victoria Park and just play some Can Jam, but we do try and disconnect on a daily basis. There was one thing during YC that actually worked really well for us. Around 6 p.m. at night, when all businesses for the most part in North America shut down, we would go and we'd just go for a run, or we would play something for dinner. It's something I really stress about. One more?
I have a question. So your solution would work best for companies that have a storefront. What if I have a business that is highly dependent on distribution of certain commodities and products where, like thinking about Amazon, how can you help Amazon?
So maybe this is a question that I just take after. I'm more than happy to get into the details because, yeah, there's quite a few things I can talk about with regards to that. Thank you very much, you guys.